would like to go to our next paper, and the next paper title is Gender Equality in Tech Entrepreneurship, a Systematic Mapping Study, and the authors are Alice Wiken-Wilson and J. David Patón-Romero. So I'd like to invite the authors to present their paper.
Okay. Hello. Do you see the presentation in presentation mode?
Yeah, it's visible.
Wonderful. Okay. So my name is Alice. I'm a fifth-year student at informatics at NTNU, and Norwegian technology. Oh, Norwegian University of Science and Technology. And last autumn, I researched on gender equality in tech entrepreneurship and made a systematic mapping study. So here's what I'm going to talk about today: research objective, research questions, a little bit about the systematic mapping study, and present the results and some discussion. So first, the research objective. I was motivated to write about this topic because most of women who study ICT or technology enter the industry by working in established companies after their studies. A very few have courage to make their own business. Actually, worldwide, women compete at 1/3 the rate of men in building their own tech company. So also founding a tech company is commonly regarded as a male domain. Like entrepreneurship in general is commonly known as a male domain, but especially in the technology industry. And most importantly, we need more women to participate in the technology field and development field to develop products that can fit every user of the society. Women are 50% of the end users of technology today, and startups and the entrepreneurship industry have the most important, they can come with a new idea, so therefore we need more women to affect this part of the industry. So then the research objective of this paper was to study and provide information about the intersection between gender equality and tech entrepreneurship based on already existing research. And most of the research on entrepreneurship in general, especially in IT, is gender neutral. So they research on not like them. There are very few studies that takes the same aim as my study does. And also I wanted to look into challenges and success factors of those who had identified those who was identified from already existing female tech entrepreneurs, and from different studies to establish new ideas and proposals. So I made 3 research questions. The first one, what original research exists in the intersection of gender equality in tech entrepreneurship, where I wanted to determine the type of research that exists, number of publications, and which research method I used, and the trend over the recent year in relation to gender equality and tech entrepreneurship. Number 2, what are the challenges with gender and tech entrepreneurship? So I would like to determine different types of challenges related to be a female tech entrepreneur. And the last one, what are the main factors adopted by female tech entrepreneurs to be successful in the tech industry? So just get a cover of what success factors does exist from those who have already made it. To map all this information and answer the research question, I used a method called systematic mapping study. And here you can see a figure I made to visualize how the process went. So a systematic mapping study provides an overview of a research area and identifies the quantity and type of research and results available within it. So I thought it was a smart way, since a smart research method to use in this area of topic, because there is such a lack of research within it. So I made a search string, which I used in Scopus to retrieve my primary studies that I was going to analyze, which you can see here. And I ended up with 19 primary studies. So I found 398 studies from my first search, and then I read all the abstracts and applied selection criteria. My search string didn't contain any study from before 2010, because I wanted to look at them. The area is quite exponential in, like, the technology is developing, and I wanted to look in the newer papers to get the most updated information. And in the end, after reading all of the 27 papers, I ended up with 19. Yes. And then my results, this I will present each of the results which belong to each of the research questions. And to extract the data from the primary studies, here are some classifications areas I used. So for the first one, I focused on the study focus, because some of the papers did research on students, not only the industry. So it's good to see which paper did what. And also it was interesting to look at which research methods they used and their geographical focus. And then regarding research question 2 and 3, I looked into internal and external challenges and internal and external success factors, which means internal is more the personal experience or pursued experience for the entrepreneur, and external is more the external factors that comes in the picture. So here you can see the results of research question 1. You can see that it's quite half and half with quantitative and qualitative research. What might be most interesting was the interviews with the already existing female tech entrepreneurs. And some were mixed, and some had surveys and analysis. So so 74% of the studies focused on the industry, and 21% of the studies focused on education. Also, we can see the geographical area of each of the studies. So also, by only retrieving 19 papers, we could already see that there is a lack of research on this special area. And then research question 2, of the 19 primary studies, 16 of the studies contain results that was relevant to the challenge part. So I noted that many of the challenges found in the different study was overlapping and could relate to each other. So here you can see at the picture that I categorized them in family life, adopting behavior, competences, educational pursuit challenges, male behavior stereotypes, and the lack of role models and mentors. That was the most popular that overlapped in the studies. So I will discuss them more in the discussion part. And here you can see that 11 of the 19 primary studies talked about success factors for female tech entrepreneurs, which most of the success factors were types of competences and skills useful to have. And also some of them mentioned that success stories are important to inspire other female to do the same. So also, I will discuss it more in the discussion part. So here we have the principal findings. So first, when looking at the papers that focused on the educational part, there was shown nearly no difference in entrepreneurial behavior among students in 2 of the papers. So it seems that the natural behavior, the natural barrier for women to conduct tech and entrepreneurship emerged at the action stage of the founding, rather than the intentional stage. So if we go to number 2, cultural norms and stereotypes are one of the key factors that prevent women for fully exploiting their potential. And not just that, female entrepreneurs, which already is in the business or in the tech industry, tend to adopt behaviors that replicate those of men to fit in. So that was mentioned as a challenge in some of the papers, that could be, that's something that's not very good for a woman, because you can't be 100% yourself. And also on the positive side, some of the women in the papers mentioned that they feel that they have stronger business ethics and principles than men, and pursue more hybrid goals, a mix of economic and personal enjoyment. So based on the papers, it seems like women focus more on the well-being in their company than men do. So that could be an example of why the increase of female tech entrepreneurs is important to remove the stereotypes. And then we have the mentors and the network part, where the lack of role models that was mentioned in many of the papers, that the lack of role models makes women less interested in an entrepreneurial career and less confident in their capacities as entrepreneurs. So there's also a lack of role models that I think few women have someone to look up to when it comes to starting their own tech company, and it's easier to just go into a safe already established company in the industry. So the lack of support from women to women is excruciating and might be happening because of the stiff competition with male-owned businesses. So as I mentioned, with role models, success stories from other female tech entrepreneurs established already in the field could matter a lot to inspire others to take their own ideas to the next step. And also the government could play an essential role in being aware of the digital aid and formulating policies related to tech entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship in general, to make it more feasible for women to attend because one of the challenges that was also mentioned was the family life expectation that female want to establish a family. There's a lot of, not maybe stereotypes, but thoughts around, is it possible to start your own company when you have kids, and etc. So there the government can come in place to maybe make some policies that could make that easier for women. So the expected work-life balance has to change. Women needs to involve themselves in entrepreneurship to make these changes and show other women that they can manage it. And number 4, competences and skills was also mentioned as both challenges and success factors. The pressure of keeping up with knowledge about different skills and competencies and experience could influence women's personal characteristics in a wrong way. As I mentioned, women tend to behave like men when they start their own company in the tech sector, according to the papers. So, but some other papers mentioned some competences that was important to women who run their tech startups, which was innovation, vision, organization skills, creativity, among others, and which appeared most important for them. And most importantly, self-efficacy. So it's important to believe in yourself, and it's also important to know that the path of each entrepreneur and it's very different. So there is not something written in stone, but from the papers it looks like most women think you have to be like stubborn and have those qualifications that are very masculinized if you're going to start your own startup. So these pursued competences could probably be changed if we get more women into tech entrepreneurship. And then a summary of the paper. So yeah, there is still a lack of existing literature on this area of topic, but if we increase the female tech entrepreneurs, it would probably increase the research as well, because it would be more women to interview and tell their stories and success factors and challenges, and also have surveys, because there's very few surveys on this area. So also the finding shows that expected entrepreneurial competences are very masculinized. So those expected competences, if they're going to be anyone, should not be genderized. They should be universal for everyone. So also the lack of role models and networking possibilities and mentors is a main concern, and should be improved. And gender stereotypes has to be removed. So for further future work, and what I'm actually working on now, the next step for me is to narrow the research to my country, Norway, and focus on how we can improve the mentorship and networking part that was found in these findings. So yeah, I'm soon finish my master thesis on this area. So it's very exciting. So thank you. I forgot to put in my contact information, but you can just send me a message here, or yeah. So any questions?
Thank you very much. Any question from anyone? We can just take one question, as we are a bit behind our schedule. Any question or comment?
So I don't have a question, but like I was making the similar research last year. I was interviewing female entrepreneurs, tech entrepreneurs in Finland. And what I've noticed that they all mentioned the main barrier of women is perfectionism. So women are trying to do the best when it's needed to be good, but on time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So I have a question, if I may. Really nice work, by the way. I'm wondering, when you said that women compete at 1/3 of the rate of men, do you mean 1/3 of, it's the percentage of women who do become entrepreneurs are 1/3 of the percentage of men, or do you mean that 1/3 of the entrepreneurs are women? I didn't quite get it.
I think if I remember it correctly, it's in the ICT part of entrepreneurship. Worldwide, I don't remember. It's for every third man, there is one woman in the ICT, because some countries actually have a lot of women in the technology part of entrepreneurship, but there are, like in the north where I'm from, there is very, very few. It's down to 14% here in Norway. That's
okay, because I would expect more or less that in Portugal as well, because that's probably more or less the percentage between 15% and 20% of people in ICT in general. So 1/3 would actually be quite good. Because it would mean that women were much more given to entrepreneurship than men.
Thank you.
So it would seem that the balance was getting reached somehow. So that's why I asked.
Yeah, but that was a good question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So now we would like to go to the next paper. Yeah, thank you. So the next paper is the paper title is Challenges and Opportunities when Deploying a Gender STEM Intervention During a Pandemic. And the authors are Mary Travers, Ita Richardson, and Linda Higgins.